Alright, welcome in. We are just loading into our first game. This is Team GdA versus AXL. We have Gyulzzing, our red Protoss, going to be up against blue Zerg, ByRada. Coming into game now. And here we go. So in the bottom right, we have our teal, our blue Zerg, ByRada. And in the top left, we have our red Protoss. Representing Team GdA-Team, it's Gyulzzing. Pylon straight down to the low ground, pretty standard. Got Overlord coming across, so nothing too sneaky to start us off here. Interestingly enough though, no hatchery coming down yet. So maybe 17 hatch for our Zerg play. A little bit risky, potentially going to get hatch blocked, but this game no. So probe scout's going to be coming across. Plenty of time for that hatchery to get down. And just looking at standard gateway, so no cannon rushes just yet. All pretty standard so far. Going to be 18 gas and 17 pull. Oh, doesn't get blocked by the probe. Very frustrating, but there we go. Another probe. Drone gets sent off. No worries there. So, yeah, all looking very normal to start with. Have our expansion coming down for our Protoss. Waiting for that cyber core. Should be starting up any moment now. There we have it. So, very standard so far. Both players just doing their thing, starting up their economies. And that's that so far. Alright, so Zergling speed started off, pulling out of gas, all very normal things. Overlord waiting to see what comes out first. It will be an Adept. Our tech building of choice is going to be a Stargate, so we'll see how our Zerg player decides to deal with that. Warpgate being researched as well, so potentially going to be throwing a bit of Adept pressure across the map. No queens, no extra queens coming out just yet for ByRada, but I expect to see them coming out pretty soon. Tumor first. So usually with the Tumor first, that gives the Zerg player a bit more minerals to spend to put into queen production, which is really helpful against that early Stargate offense that we know is coming. And that scout is coming in for ByRada, so he will be seeing that Stargate in a matter of time. And there that spot is, so he should keep that, potentially looking for another queen or two to be popping out here. It's not an oracle, so we're not needing immediate spores just yet. Those overlords as well are probably going to get picked off if they're not pulled in soon. There you go, second overlord, and it's not going to be too much of a supply block. We've got 4 overlords on the way, so that should be alright. Extra gateways coming down, Twilight and RoRrO, so it's really going for all these tech options at the moment. There's our Protoss. Potentially going to be getting a late Adept timing or something like that across the map. ByRada looking for that third, not going to find it just yet. The zone third is definitely on the way, and we've got spore crawlers at the third. We've got an Evo. One queen is not enough to take this Void Ray down. As long as it's positioned correctly with the spore though, it should be fine. He is going to be able to pick off that gas if he wishes to. So one one void ray, one void ray's getting one drone kill so far. Nothing the Zerg can't handle. Here we go, so Zealot charge and Warp is not on the way. Only 2 gateways, there we go, so many more gateways on the way now. And Templar Archives, goodness me. So lots of tech coming out for a Protoss. But the worker count is actually very even at the moment, so only one probe ahead, sorry, one drone ahead for our Zerg player. We made an army though, so he's invested quite a lot into Lings. Definitely does need to get a little bit done. And there will be a cancel on that third base, so very optimistic attempt there from that Protoss player. Creep Spear not doing too bad, a few Creep Queens out the front. And here's this warp that we were talking about, so looking like, yeah, Archon drops. Is there a Roach Warren? I don't believe we have a Roach Warren just yet, so this could be a little bit tough for the Zerg to hold. We'll just have to see. I don't think he's aware of it until now. He sees it, hopefully we'll see because of these tumors. And the Queens have been engaging. Actually getting some nice damage done, but these Queens are not long for this world, down they go. And there's the Roach Warren, so very delayed. Yeah, usually often get started before, or around 4 minutes. So really going to have some tricky times here, this our Zerg player. But managing to not lose too much just yet. Yeah, that Roach Warren going down, and only 2 Roaches going to come out, so this is going to be, more war. This is going to be a tough time. Not really much defense. So, got Zealots taking Queens down there in the mineral lines. This is going to be a tough hold. Quite greedy, but realistically, there wasn't actually much of a drone advantage earlier on either. So, Protoss being very efficient with his build and well executed. Work leads 4 going down. It's going to be more 10 workers now. It's going to be tough for third bases. And for a heck of a time. With only 2 Roaches, and only the second Roach Warren has only just started now, so these Archons are really putting in work. 20 kills. They've got almost 40 kills between them. Really putting in work. And where's the Warp Prism? Must have been taken down, so good takeout by the Zerg there. It's definitely a lot harder to reinforce without that Prism, so Archon is recalled back home, and these Zealots will be cleaned up eventually by the Lings. There we go. So not going to take that third base down, but some serious economic damage being done there. 62 workers to 47. Protoss is now bringing out Immortals, as we expect the Zerg players to be hitting Roaches, so kind of countering a counter before it even appears. +1 being research drone movements for the Protoss, and also ranged for the Zerg. Already has weapons as well. Hydrogen on the way. We'll see if that turns into Hydras or if that's just going to be going straight to Lurkers, which could be a good option, but if he's going to need a lot more economy to get that to happen. Now, good run by here. There is a shield battery and a photon cannon up, so not really going to be able to get too much done. There's a whole position links. A lot of them going to get caught. Nice clean up by the Protoss player. Yikes. So, Protoss definitely feeling like they're going to be in a good spot right now. A couple of the debts just sitting at the top actually. There we go. So finally going into the drones and shedding into the third. Oof. So ByRada being pulled apart a little bit here. That early attack obviously really setting it back quite a lot. We've got the Protoss meanwhile moving across the map. So preparing for another push, and well, the army supply is a little bit telling. Generally as a Zerg, especially your supply and efficient units will push up. You want to be having a higher supply. So Roaches being a supply and efficient unit, and we're already so far behind on army, this is not looking good, but here we go. Engagement happens, and yeah, it's a tough one. Ravage being caught out there, a couple of Hydras, Force Fields putting them in work, so this is going to be a tough hold. So we'll see if we can do it. GG is called. So first game goes to Gyulzzing. We're going to go to a quick break while that second game's being organised, and we'll see you soon. And we're loading back in to our second game. And here we go. So, in the top left, the yellow Zerg, we have eGGz representing Team AXLA. Oh, quick pause happening. And we'll bring you back to the game just as soon as they're ready.
Game resumed.
Alright, players are back in. So we have, as we were saying, Zerg in the top left, and in the bottom right, our green Zerg representing team GdA, we have RoRrO. RoRrO going for the early pull there. So likely going to be seeing some aggression from RoRrO, whereas eGGz going for the more standard 16 or 17 hatch. I would say 16 hatch seems likely. So we'll see what RoRrO is able to do with this. It is a map with speed zones in the middle, so things often do arrive a little bit earlier. No gas going down just yet either, so not going to be seeing speedlings. And no, well, we're saving it potentially for a macro hatch, maybe? We'll see. So we've got 6 lings on the way. Very aggressive start from RoRrO. Spawning pool only just starting for eGGz now, so we'll see what he manages to do, what kind of defense he brings up. Of course, his hatchery is down, so if he is able to defend, oh goodness, here we go. So the drone pull as well, this is going to be probably the spine rush, because we've got 210 minerals. So yeah, the spine rush is starting. Got a sneaky drone here, looking to see what's happening. This is going to be a quick one, folks. Either way, whoever wins, because there is nothing back at home for RoRrO. He's still got enough. Oh, so not going to be going for the spine crawler. Just going to be committing all the way to lings. So there'll be a few reinforcements, but really, this is it. Oh, so we do have spine crawler. 100 minerals. My bad. And immediate pull of the drones from eGGz. He knows what's happening. He's seen this before. This is not his first ZVZ. Now, eGGz is starting his own spine crawler in the natural. This is immediately cancelled, so it's going to be a tough hold. He has no mining happening at the moment, and a lot of links on the side of RoRrO. So this is looking good for RoRrO so far. And the worker advantage as well. There is no worker advantage. Really, it's very even. That spine does finish up for RoRrO. It is in range of the spawning pool, so the clock is ticking. They have engaged, and RoRrO is looking good, and this is a GG call by eGGz. So well played to RoRrO, a fast one there. That makes it 1-all in this clan war. We will be right back with game number 3. Alright, for those listening and able to hear me, we're just waiting for one of the players to show. They're a little bit late to the party, so we are just going to be having probably another 5-minute break, potentially 10 minutes, and we'll update you as soon as we can. Thanks for your patience. Oh, good news. The player has returned, so we are just loading into the game now. Countdown has started. We'll bring you that as soon as it is ready. Alright, and we begin. We're loaded into Oxide. We're going to start with our player on the bottom left. Representing Team AXLA, we have the pinkish Protoss, Mood. And in the top left, representing Team GdA, he is Vaisravana. Okay, so pretty standard opening from these guys as well. Nothing too funky just yet. Probe Scout can be heading across, so no hatch block. 16 hatch coming down for our Red Zerg. All pretty standard. Expected plays so far. So, a fairly longer map. This tends to be slightly more macro orientated, a little bit less rushes. We'll see what the Protoss decides to do. The third base is a fair distance longer from the natural with ramps in between. So there is a bit more potential for adepts to sometimes get between those bases and wreak some havoc in the drone lines. Spawning wall coming down, gas coming. So far tech choices have not been revealed. But all pretty normal. Nexus first, then into Cybercore. Mood doing a bit of mineral stealing, but nothing too major. Trying to cause a bit of havoc. Stargate openings a lot more common in ZVP these days since the most recent patch. Void Rays with a significant buff, now able to get rid of pesky overlords. And Warpgate has been started. Now let's see what this first tech building is going to be for the Protoss. With the Overlord right above, he still does choose to go for the Adept. Fairly safe choice. And that first choice, yes, there we see. So Stargate has come down. We'll see what comes from that. Void Ray first or Oracle. Don't expect to see a Phoenix first, but could happen. Who knows these days. Now, just one drone on gas and Ling speed started. So very typical from our Zerg player so far. Now that second queen is coming out. Sorry, third queen I should say, second queen from the natural. This is good to see. It's going to provide a bit of extra defense against that first unit, which is a Void Ray, as expected. Still building this thing in that wall, but there we go, finally they're going to be filled in now. Unfortunately not paying any price for that. Zerg staying on their side of the map, being just macroing up for now. We do see a worker lead, or just evening out now, so Protoss keeping on top of their macro. Nothing wrong there. Expecting to see drones go back into gas anytime soon, anytime now. And potentially, well, we've got Stargate first. It depends, I don't think it's been scouted, so Twilight's coming down as well. There we go, some links coming in now. And that first adept's going to be picked off, surrounded. Good catch there by Vice. Third base is up for Zerg. All pretty standard. And he did indeed spot that Stargate, so I missed that. Apologies. Mood puts his third down, and Vice wants to have something to say about that. There's not really going to be much that Mood can do at this point. He's got one adept, but he does. Well, there we go. So choosing to go for that third, a smart choice. Not going to get through those adepts. And that is almost certainly going to be a cancel. Void Ray not going to have enough DPS to pick the Zerglings off fast enough. Getting us around. Oh, not getting us around on those adepts. The Oracle is out, so Vice decides to pull back for now, and Mood is left to try and retake his third base for the second time. A lot of gases going down all at once for our Zerg. Still no real exploration into tech yet. We do have glaives well on the way for the Protoss, so we'd really like to see a Roach Warren come down very soon, but I don't think he scouted that. With a number of the depths in the wall, quick Ling Scout would hopefully reveal the intentions, because this is more than just defensive depths really. There is definitely a bigger plan. You know, we'd expect to see a Stalker or something. But the first 8 adepts are starting their shade, and let's see, are they going to finish? They will. So these Lings, ooh, actually getting really good surround, but the depth's too strong. Glaives is finished, and the Lings will be left to scurry home now. 20 Lings on the way, so emergency panic response, but there is no War Prison. So for Mood, this is not a super committed adept attack. This is not an all-in, and we see with that worker advantage going to him that he's going to be just fine. This is intended to get a bit of damage done, not really going to find anything. A few Lings here and there, but as we see in the lost tab, pretty even really so far. Slight, actually, I should say slight advantage to the Zerg, but really nothing major. Especially given that Protoss has the worker lead. Always a scary position to be in as a Zerg player. Always really want to have that worker lead. Would like to see a 4th base coming down as well, because this is getting a little bit worrisome. Immortals on the way, but they're actually going to be pretty average against the lack of roaches. So a bit of kind of blind tech going there. +1 starting, charge on its way, more gates coming down. So Templar Archives as well. Really, Protoss is really expanding their hold on the game at this point, and there's not too much. I mean, we're seeing Hydras come across the map, but they're only just getting their range upgrade now. This is going to be a bold push, but it could get something done. I mean, the army supply is well ahead for our Zerg player. So Overcharge does come down, extremely strong, and does save that War Prison, so very fortunate there. Probes being pulled, so this is definitely going to do something. I don't think it's going to be enough to really finish off. This is in fact not going to be close enough to finish off our Protoss player. Wow, maybe I speak too soon. More Hydras rallying across the map. Looking to see more Warpins. We need more Warpins for our Protoss player. But so far Vice doing very well. Actually cleaning up 14 probes. Still behind in workers actually, but yeah, there we go. So clean up. Ooh, more Lings coming to reinforce. This Immortal's not going to have a good time against Lings, and you know what? This could be some fairly significant damage. Sheer Battery Overcharge is still on cooldown. Adepts really would be quite useful in this situation. The extra damage against light plus their glaives being researched. They're both not bad against Zerglings and Hydras, but surprising lack there. Still committing into those Immortals as well. Interesting choice, and Templar Archives is not being used either. Would be great to see. I mean, for the sake of Mood, really could do with some Archons, and there we go, finding some Archons now. It's probably going to need, I mean, long term, Storm, but the Spire is almost finished, 3/4, 4/5 of the way done. And Vice is still committing to this pressure. And you can't blame him, but really he needs to be using this time now to catch back up on workers. Still no workers in queue, and 11 lava sitting there, so Vice really needing to spend that money, banking up a little bit, and oh, there we go, so going straight into mutas. 10 at once, and currently, well, Mood is not going to have a good time against this. Yes, those Archons do alright, but they do not move fast enough to catch those mutas that could bounce between those bases. There's Photon Cannon up in the third, but the Natural only has a shield battery, and the main is just completely undefended. Storm is on the way, halfway done for Mood. +1 weapons, air weapons, starting up for Vice, so he's looking to commit into those mutas, but often we see mutas offer a much higher economy. We've still only got 45 workers here. This is a really interesting choice to not get more workers, but it could pay off because there is just a complete lack of air defense. One Phoenix is not going to cut it. So these mutas are really going to, already this worker killer count is stacking up. But with Stalkers, the Phoenix, she'll better overcharge. That second base is safe, but this third, only one Photon Cannon is really no defense over this side. So Vice going to get a bit done with those mutas, but I hate to say it, the mood is still well ahead in workers. And there is no fourth base down for the Zerg player yet either. Really needs to be transferring some of these drones, deciding to mine quite inefficiently. The third base is empty, so perhaps a little bit more macro focus, but oh, middle of the map. Yeah, Mood's going to take this one. A lot of Lings cleaned up by the Archons. This is going to be a tough hold. I'm worried for Vice, but the army supply is behind, the worker supply is behind. It's never great in the position to be in if the Zerg is behind in supply. These Archons stacking up, and GG is called by Vice. GG to Mood. We will be back with the next game shortly. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are loading into game number 4. So far, Team GdA is 2. AlphaX Latam is 1. So looking to tie up the series here is our 2 players. Well, that's our player from AlphaX. And in Team GdA-Team, looking to take the series, make it a 3-1. We're bringing into Romanticide. So, representing Team GdA in the bottom right, the blue Terran, this is RoRrO. And in the top left, representing Team AlphaX Latam, we have the red Protoss, GutyEcuador. So, this base, while fairly large, often considers has a lot of choke points, ramps that are difficult to get up to and push into. So games tend to go a little bit longer here. We have a mineral line that leads to rich Vespian geyser, which is often quite ideal expansion to take for the Terran players. We see that quite often as surrounded by ramps. It is quite hard to push up to. Planetary Fortress and a couple of tanks make that position very difficult to engage into. Both players now scouting across the middle of the map, and so far not really going to find too much out of the ordinary. Guty happy to build his units right there, not worrying about blocking off the Reaper or the ramp. And we have our first Nexus coming down for Guty. Guty or Guty? We'll find out afterwards. But Nexus coming down. Reaper on the way. And Planetary Fort. No. Orbital Command. So far, all par for the course. We'll see where this probe is off to. Potentially, well, just looking at the moment by the looks of it. Not going to place any pylons. But that could change, we'll see. And Zealot on the way, coming potentially just to protect or try and keep out that Reaper, but it is staying on its side of the map for now, so actually looking like it's going to try and scout for... Oh, they're going to miss each other, so trying to scout for any weird shenanigans happening. Not going to find anything, bunker coming down, and it might just slip in, chooses not to. But the Reaper has spotted it. This probe is not going to last much longer. So, first unit coming across the map, Zealot. Not really sure what that's going to get done with the Reaper around. Certainly the Reaper can out-micro a Zealot, but only if the Reaper is on the right side of the map. But with a bunker, this Zealot is not going to be doing too much. I think it's really just going for a scout, perhaps more than anything. Well, but with a second Zealot, this is interesting. Shield battery coming down in the natural. And Stalker as well. So, Forge and Twilight Council. Looking like we're going to be getting some gateway units coming for the Protoss. Meanwhile, Terran is just powering up, content to get some factories up. We've got STEM on the way, Reactor, another tech lab. So, probably going into some bio here. So, almost certainly going into bio. Interesting lift on the command there. So far pretty normal. We have Zealot legs on the way as well as +1 ground weapons. So potentially both players just really powering up at this stage. Third base coming down for Guty. So far no third command, but 1 engineering bay, so not double just yet. Only 1 gas taken, so very mineral heavy. Likely to be seeing a lot of Marines and a few more orders splashed in. Here we go. So production, yeah, keeping that flowing, scanning across. He's going to see what Guty has in store. Only one gateway so far, but we expect to see a few gateways coming down in a moment or two when Guty's economy powers up more as well. And indeed, there we go, our gateways come down. 5 gateways so far. Push across to the map. Going to be a little bit tricky though for Protoss to hold. It actually decides to retreat, not committing. Oh, there we go, there's a zealot. So, a powerful push coming across. Stim has completed, but so is charge. Concussive shells is also going to finish by the time this happens. So, this is going to be a tough hold for the Protoss, certainly a very early push. But there are decent worker count behind us, so this doesn't have to end the game. But, well, it might. However, with all the stimming happening and no medivacs, these bio units will eventually run themselves into the wall and die with no support. So, let's be careful with how much stim is being used, and we're likely going to see some baiting. There we go. So, decides to commit though. Not going to work out too well for the Protoss. This is perhaps not the best choice there. Could have baited out a stim or two before really engaging, and it's going to pay the price for that. But with all these reinforcements, it seems likely that the Protoss will be able to clean this up. No major damage really on either side. I mean, certainly extra losses for the Protoss, but no losses to workers, and that third base still stands. So, I mean, both players still have a good chance from here. Army supply, worker supply, a very even, slight advantage to Terran. But there we go. So third base is on its way. Still being built. I'm going to have to float over. Committing still to those very early barracks, and the starport is on the way. We see a factory with a reactor, but likely going to be a swap into medivacs to support this battered unit composition. Meanwhile, Protoss has got +2 on the way. No further tech happening, I mean, other than the Templar archives, but nothing from that so far yet. No Archons. There we go. So a few Templar, but no Storms. So here we go. Terran coming in, doing quite a bit of damage to the probe line. Going to try and retreat, but with concussive shells and speed lots, this is it's going to be a tough retreat, and probably going to get cleaned up. Still no further commitment into tech, and no more Archons, so be interested to see what the plan is. And there we go, Storm has finally begun and is actually being chronoed, so potentially forgotten there, as we do see quite a healthy count of minerals and gas there. So Protoss content to stick with what they've got so far, and as is the Terran, potentially would want to be seeing another engineering bay come down, as otherwise these upgrades are going to be rather slow, and really these upgrades do affect bios quite significantly. Another push coming across the map for the Terran, so really trying to keep that pressure on. But the army supply is well in favour of Protoss at this point, as is the worker supply. So Protoss got themselves in a pretty good position. No fourth base on the horizon yet for the Protoss players, so probably expecting to, well, hopefully they're probably wanting to get that down soon enough. But we'll see what they manage to do. A lot more gateways on the way, so committing to that gateway composition. No Colossi yet. Meanwhile, Ghosts and EMP on the way. So really, Terrans continuing their tech up. Very even work count. Really, Protoss is going to need a bit more than just this to keep this game moving. Though, going to need to get into some of those robust units, and we do see that one rover coming down. But the support bay will be a telling sign as to whether we're going to be getting any Colossi. And indeed, there it is. So Colossi expected at this point. Smart move against Bio. Could be disruptors, but second rover as well. So yeah, he's going to transition a bit more into those units that deal a bit better with the Bio. Fourth command sensor down, and we still see armory and another engineering base. So generally pretty standard game happening from these two. We've got a drop coming into the main. So far no defense and not being spotted, so we'll see what that can get done. +3 is being researched, maybe it goes for that, maybe it goes for the mineral line. cannon is much too late. So yeah, you're going to be going for that mineral line. Just one medevac. If it was a couple, it actually could have really done some work, but it's going to be shooed away there. And that fourth base that's been put down by the Protoss, yeah, good EMP, really going to clear that up, making it tough to defend, and that fourth base will fall, no doubt about it. Meanwhile, I'll drop into the third base. Not going to get too much done with these cannons there, so nice defense at the third, and we'll see. Widow Mine's getting a little bit done, and Storm does come down, very brutal on that bio. Not a bad Widow Mine, but not really getting any kills. Protoss in a tough position. EMPs are good, but not good enough to really clean out this army. Archons being very strong, of course, as well as Zealots with their chunky armor. Thermal Lance on their way, so yeah, Colossi definitely being committed to, which is probably a smart choice. Colossi with Storm, a very tough composition for Bio to go into, and here we see that upper base being taken by the Terran. So fairly common one, easier for them to defend, especially as the rich Vespian. Terran's still wanting to get the pressure on, looking like coming through the top and the middle side of the map there. No defences here, so this push could do a little bit, especially as I was just clearing up rocks, so kind of in the middle of the map there. Army not in position to deal with that attack on the third, and likely going to be baited and really distracted, but Protoss not falling for it, he must have seen, and indeed he has. So coming back to defend, leaving the fourth base, or there we go, some armies coming back. So scuffles here and there. It's lost severely in favour of the Terran. But yeah, that Colossi and Storm really so hard to push into as the Bio player. Widow Mine's going off, but not killing anything. So we see a healthy medevac count, keeping that the Bio up. Good army supply lead for the Terran. Upgrades a little bit behind really, would like to be seeing a bit more commitments, and they are on their way, but very late. So potentially, well, a definite advantage to the Protoss there. Another army coming down to take that fourth, which has been well established. Not going to be able to do much really. This is much too strong with the Archons and the Colossi. The splash is too much. And yes, we see on the side as well, more splash. So Terran trying to get things done, but nice couple of storms there, but yeah, really not being able to do too much at this point as the Terran. Getting a couple of Vikings coming out to deal with those Colossi, but with the count on it too, it's going to take a very long time to clear any of those up. Protoss still continuing to just do what they're doing, no real changes in circumstance. Only one of those Colossi coming out at a time despite double robo. Both worker counts perhaps could be a little bit higher at this point in the game. Both have been, there's no major losses really have been taken. Now, Terran trying to get that base advantage, taking their fifth base, so good to see that economy keeping on going, a priority. Protoss is running low on minerals and their existing bases, so definitely going to need to see a fifth base being taken shortly. Some good EMPs coming down, nice drop with the ghosts. Still a tough place to push into though, as we see these chokes make it tough, not able to get this around. And Protoss pushing forward here, really cleaning up, so a bit of an over commitment there by the Terran player. Potentially looking for a couple more surrounds. Would be good to break down these rocks, come from a couple of different angles to avoid a little bit of that Colossi and Storm damage, but retreats to fight another day. This observer here going to see all the action coming in, so no surprises for the Protoss. Excuse me. So leaving this base defenses though, so nice kind of distracting move there, probably good for pullback and just let this group do its work. Protoss committing, two fights going on at once. This next side, probably going to get that Nexus, but this side, this army will be cleaned up and very even on army supply now. The Nexus does go down, it's going to be cleaned up in the end, and we do have a fifth Nexus being taken up on the high ground here for the Protoss. So tough losing that fourth Nexus, for sure, but good to see there's a backup for him there. Protoss pushing into this this fourth base for the Terran, and Planetary Fortress trying to stay alive, but it's a lot of DPS coming out, and there we go, loss. So loss for each side lose their fourth. Terran decides to Protoss decides to retreat. Those Vikings getting a bit of damage off on the Colossi, and with only a couple of Stalkers, yeah, cleaned up eventually, but 10 worker losses on the side of the Terran. So more economic damage, you would say, has been done by the Protoss. No SCDs, oh there we go, so a few SCDs back in production now. Another command center comes down. More commitment into barracks, so we'll have to see what the Terran decides to do. Still sticking with their infantry for now. Of course 3-3 has been finished. And 3, weapons level 3 for the Protoss is also done a while back. Extra commands coming down now, so Terran really feeling like they have control of the map, despite that one push across. Trying to defend here for the Protoss, and this Vikings coming forward quite far, getting picked off by the Archons. As are the Zealots though, getting well out of position. EMPs are not doing as well as they could have perhaps. More Archons coming in, but the Terran is pushing in. This is a tough hold. The Protoss is in a bit of trouble here. 25 army supply to 80, so real advantage to the Terran. DT's not going to get anything done. A nice effort, but the scan was well placed. So Terran probably going to be taking this next eye, and this puts Protoss in a tough position. Really, there's nothing much to hold right now. There's more scans coming down, so DT's, yes, super high DPS, but just not tanky enough to really take the shots. But seems like no more scans. Terran has decided to retreat. Protoss has cleaned it up without losing the Nexus, so nice hold there in the end from the Protoss, from Guti. Army supply still heavily in favour. Very even worker supply though. So with all that splash, I mean there was a lot of tech units lost there. All the Colossi count was reset. Archons were down. Templars, whatever was left was made to Archons. So, oh, good MPs there. That's tough to swallow, and this army is going to have a lot of trouble. And GG is called. Well played. That brings the score to 3-1 for Team GdA. And that may be it. Not entirely sure how many games there are in this series. I will inform you of that as soon as I can. And I've just been informed that is the winning point for Team GdA, so congratulations to them. Congratulations to Alpha NA PRO, of course, our AlphaX Latam team. Well played by them, but GdA takes it today. That is a victory to them. So we will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. It has been great to have you here, and all the best. Have a great weekend.